All hearts and minds clear. Total about Sadat, total about El Young. Thank you very much, Mighty Power. Thank you very much, Most High Power, for all that you have done, even all that you will do. For your name is great, O Yah, and your mercy endures forever and ever, even to thousands of generations. Please continue to wash me and cleanse us, O Yah, from all manner of filthiness. And I ask that my words, that our beings may be acceptable unto you, O Yah. For all have sinned, all have fallen short, O Yah, but with you, O Yah, there is forgiveness. Therefore, we are redeemed. Please remember those, O Yah, who are sick and afflicted. But I ask that on this Shabbat day that you may give them rest, give them comfort, even joy in due season, O Yah. And I ask that you may be with those who bring forth the word, O Yah. And I ask that they may be able to edify the people, and they may speak the truth and nothing but the truth. And I ask that each and every one of us, O Yah, may also have the ability to edify, so that when anyone asks us a question, that we may give them the right answer, that we will bring forth the truth and nothing but the truth. And I ask that we all may be edified by you, O Yah. For you, O Yah, there is infinite wisdom. There is abundance of strength, and there's great knowledge and high understanding. I ask, O Yah, that we all will submit unto you, and that none of us will have a stiff neck. But I ask that each and every one of us may have that personal experience in our lives, O Yah, that personal experience that may draw us closer to you, so that we may see you for who you are, even as Abraham, even as Job had that personal experience as he went through hard times and as they saw you for the righteous, true, and living Elohim, the one and true living El. Told her about for another Shabbat day, O Yah, and I ask that we may keep it with joy and gladness, and we may keep it set apart. For you have given a Shabbat day for man to rest, and also to keep it set apart. Please accept these words, O Yah, for being your will, for it is your will that shall be done. Amen, wa amen, so be it, and so be it. Hallelujah.
Amen, amen, hallelujah. All right, Ms. Picard, I turn the floor to Moreh Samak. Moreh Samak, I turn the floor to you, Adam.
All right, hallelujah, hallelujah. Shabbat shalom, Mishpachah. All praise, all honor, all esteem be to the Most High Yah. May His name be esteemed always and forevermore. Today we're going to go into just a culture presentation, and I want to kind of go there because I know we have some people that are newer to the walk and to the Mishpachah, and there are certain things that we've grown accustomed to doing and saying, or we started adding things. And so some that's already been accustomed to the walk understand certain things, but then some may look at it as a term like, why are we saying certain things? And so we just want to go to the culture to focus on a greeting today. And that greeting is going to be dealing with shalom, okay, with shalom, and actually a saying that we say. So first of all, shalom, when we're looking at it, like when we're greeting people in English, you know, we may say things like, what's up, how you doing, so on and so forth. We have many different greetings, but the more personal a person is to you, more meaningful the relationship, you may greet someone differently than you greet just an acquaintance, you know, you may greet them a different way. So in Hebrew, we have a term that we always say to each other now, we say shalom, right? We all say shalom to each other, but I don't think sometimes we actually understand what we're saying when we're saying shalom. Shalom is also pronouncing like a blessing upon someone. Shalom means completeness, a wholeness. So you're asking someone to have shalom upon them, a completeness upon them. You know, it's actually supposed to be an expression of endearment also that we're saying to someone more than just an average greeting. It's like, if I'm saying shalom to you, I'm trying to speak shalom into your life, right? So, but what happens is a lot of times we also lose sight of what things mean. And when we're using them, we take away the significance, so we don't even use it with the right intent or the right heart or the right mindset. And so I just want to start off there first and foremost. And I want to also cover a few things. I was able last Rishon, before we did the closing of our portion of Unleavened, I was able to tune in with some of my brothers on Barawak and Moreh Yeshaya, and you know they did a Q&A section on their platform. And one of the questions that came up was, did the Messiah speak Hebrew, or did the people in the New Testament speak Hebrew, somewhere thereabouts? And because, you know, it's been heard that the New Testament is written in Greek, It's been heard that he speaks Aramaic. And so Moreh, he did a very good explanation to answer that question. But I just thought that there could be those that's new amongst us that they just know that we do Hebrew classes, and we're using terms that they may not fully understand. And so since that was a question that one of their new members asked, I just said that motivated me to also want to kind of go into that portion today, so that certain statements that's used and certain questions that may be asked or not asked, but it's in someone's mind, I'm going to kind of cover that today as well. So first of all, like, we try to study the Hebrew language because culturally, that's the language that the Torah was written in. And that's the language that the Hebrews actually spoke. All right, they spoke the Hebrew language, or the Israelites, they spoke the Hebrew language. And so as we've read already many times in this particular portion, that things other than the Hebrew tongue has a more strong vibration, as I said, has a stronger meaning, a more concrete meaning. So what we have in English sometimes, we have to go to the Hebrew thought, to get a better understanding of how Hebrews thought about things from the way they viewed language itself and the function of language and the meanings of words and what they would say. And as we see even through the text that places are even named for either something good that we've done or something bad that we've done. If we were someplace complaining, it might have got named after complaint. So it's being mindful, the Most High judged us here because we complained. So when they were naming things, naming children and places, it had meaning behind it. So the way they thought, it was more than just saying, I'm gonna name my child Mercedes. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna name my son Benz. My daughter gonna be Mercedes and my son gonna be Benz. And I'm not making it fun because we know we have family members that's named Mercedes. I haven't heard nobody named Benz yet, but you know what I'm saying? Because somebody like a Mercedes Benz, they name their child, after that, or they like the name Mercedes because it means a car that's expensive. But from a Hebrew, these words meant something to them. So we're trying to get into culture. So before going into the greeting that you hear is used a lot, that some may not be very familiar with, I want to first start off with Matthew's chapter 10, Matthew's chapter 10. And let's start with verse 12. Matthew's chapter 10, and we're starting with verse 12. We'll start at verse 11.
Matthew 10, verse 11. And into whatsoever city or town you shall enter, inquire who in it is worthy, and there abide till you go thence. And when you come into a house, salute it. And if the house be worthy, let your peace come upon it.
Okay, so this is the Mashiach explaining to the Talmudic disciples that he's going to be sending out. When you go to different cities, when you go to different towns, when you enter, find out who in those towns who is worthy, who are those that's actually seeking the Creator, who are those that's trying to be upright and righteous. And it says, and when you come into a house in that town, if you sought out homes that you should be able to enter into, then you salute the home, or you salute the home with a form of a greeting. Verse 13, and if the house be worthy, let your peace come upon it. But if it be not worthy, let your peace return to you. So actually, we're supposed to be the ones that bring shalom. We're supposed to be shalom bringers, when we're entering. So, and also I'm going here also for the culture portion, because where I'm kind of going at now in my view, and I'm just going to kind of say from lessons that's about to start coming, I want to focus more on, and y'all gonna hear this again today, I want to focus more on character, conduct, and righteous attributes is what I want to focus on. A lot of times we focus on law, and y'all know we're going to do that because we're supposed to, right? But now we've sometimes become legalistic, and we're missing actually the other substance that the law is supposed to actually produce in us, which I'll touch on a little later. But this is going to be touching on it. So when we're the ones that know the law, we're the ones that know what the Creator wants. Customarily, they were sent out, the ones who knew the right way to do it. They were being instructed, and they were being trained up. Here's how you now behave yourself when you go. Like, regardless of what anyone else is doing in the town, when you come into the town, you bring what? You bring shalom, you bring peace, okay? You bring wholeness. So for one, who was the good news saying that's gonna be preached to? To the brokenhearted, to those that's downtrodden, those that's depressed, stressed out, those who need healing. So when you come, you're supposed to bring a form of comfort. So he's saying when you come into a place and you find out someone is worthy, you come to a house, salute it. If there's one worthy in it, let your peace come upon it. But if it be not worthy, let your shalom or your peace return to you. So if there's no one in the house that's worthy and they don't even want to receive the righteousness of the Most High, you allow your shalom to return with you. You're not even going to leave the blessing of shalom upon a place that is not being upstanding to the Most High Yah, and like, oh, he ain't real, and just being very disrespectful, very idolatry. You're like, oh, well, why would I try to bring shalom on this place? The Most High probably want to come destroy this place. So I'm not going to try to pronounce shalom on this place. All right. So it says, give me verse 14.
And whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear your words, when you depart out of that house or city, shake off the dust of your feet.
Okay, so part of, like I said, I want to focus on character and conduct. And so even with character and conduct, it's hard to have a balance sometimes because the way people may judge you based on their level of understanding or what they think somebody to go to church or somebody to say they're Hebrew is supposed to be. So we are supposed to be humble, compassionate, caring, kind, and we're supposed to bring peace. But then the Mashiach also said, what? There's time that you return your peace to you. So when we do that, if we conduct ourselves like that, what do people say? I thought you was a child of God. You know, because they're missing that, look, you're not behaving worthy of me leaving to you or trying to bring something to you that I was trying to offer to you that you didn't desire to have. So I've been instructed to also, it don't mean we got to be nasty when we leave. You just be like, yeah, I'm taking my shalom with me. I'm not going to sit here and waste any more time here. There's no one worthy in this place. So now I'm going to leave and I'm not going to pronounce shalom aleichem. Shalom aleichem, peace to you. Shalom alaikum, peace be upon you, right? I'm not going to pronounce these things. Or I'm going to ask my shalom to return with me when I leave, you know. So I just want to start there because this was the words of the Mashiach to his Talmudim, his disciples, giving them instructions on how to conduct themselves when you go out. So we should be peaceful people when we go out to bring forth the message of the Most High. Sometimes we bring the message, are we the most peaceful? Are we actually bringing wholeness, calmness, and shalom? Sometimes we're not. So this is what he instructed them, that they may bring shalom or bring peace, all right? I'm going to come back to the Brit Kadashah in a moment, but I want to first go to the book of Shemot, Slika, Bereshit. The book of Bereshit, chapter 43. Genesis 43. And we're going to just start at verse 18.
Bereshit, Genesis 43, verse 18. And the men were afraid because they were brought into Joseph's house. And they said, because of the money that was returned in our sacks at the first time are we brought in, that he may seek occasion against us and fall upon us and take us for bondmen and our donkeys.
Okay, so most people may be familiar with the story, some may not be familiar, and I'm starting, you know, deep into the story. So we understand that Joseph's brothers basically was going to kill him, and then they pretty much had him when he was ended up being sold into captivity in Egypt. And he was, you know, went through some hardships there, but then we know he arose to power, being the second in command in Mitzrayim, commonly called Egypt. So at this time, there's now a famine in the land where Israel is at, and this many years later, now Joseph is an adult, and his brothers does not recognize who he is, but he recognizes them, and he put them through a series of events that they had to do before he actually gave them comfort to bring them and let them know who he was. He was kind of trying them, all right? So not gonna go all the way into that, but what we're seeing here is that one of the times that he gave them a test, when they got back home, stuff that they were supposed to buy from him, when they got back, all the money was still with them, so they felt like, oh my goodness, we're gonna be in trouble, because they're gonna think we stole, he's gonna think we stole when we go back, right? But of course, we know Yosef made sure the money was put back in their sacks himself, all right? So they're fearful as they return to him, feeling that there's not going that they're going to think that we didn't we stole something. So we're going to go back with the money, and they're going to actually go back with what? More money. So also they have the understanding of the Torah that if we want to make the shalom or the peace right in this place when we go back, if they think we did steal something, we're going to give them the amount that we were supposed to give that we didn't give, and we're going to also do what? Give more to actually hope for this shalom or this peace from this person when we return back. So pick up at 19.
They came near to the steward of Joseph's house, and they communed with him at the door of the house and said, "O sir, we came indeed down at the first time to buy food. And it came to pass when we came to the inn that we opened our sacks, and behold, every man's money was in the mouth of his sack. Our money was in full weight. Our money in full weight, and we have brought it again unto our hand. And other money have we brought down in our hands to buy food, for we cannot tell who put our money in our sacks."
So they said they explain everything. Look, we being straight up, we being honest with you. We did not steal, you know. But however, we don't know how our money was to the full in our sacks when we returned home, but it was. But we know we paid full price for the food. But look, we came to buy food once again, and we got more money in our sacks. So they were actually trying to basically let him know, hey, we did not steal from you, and we coming with good intent, and we actually letting you know that something happened. We're not aware what happened, but they're still speaking in fear unto him. All right. Read the next verse.
Verse 23, and he said, peace be to you, fear not. Your Elohim and Elohim of your father has given you treasure in your sacks.
Okay, so he said to them what?
Peace be to you.
He said, peace be to you. So again, when we're saying these words meant something to someone, for him saying that, that was a word to mean what? To them. They were scared. He said what? So I said this term to you, peace be to you, fear not. Why? I'm pronouncing wholeness. I'm pronouncing peace to you. I'm at shalom with you. I don't have any issue with you. Do you know we have people that say shalom to people we have issues with? So we actually using the term erroneously, like if we're not at shalom, then I'm still saying shalom to you, and we're not at shalom. Now, if you want to be at shalom with a person, because the bigger person can still say shalom to someone that would not say shalom to them, as David would have said to Saul, but Saul wasn't going to say it to David, because Saul what hated David, but David still what wanted shalom between him and Saul. So one may still do it because I have no negative feeling, but the one that have negative feeling may not want to say shalom, right? And that's understandable, because, and then that should make someone be able to identify what this person is not at shalom with me, so I need to try to figure out how to what reestablish or restore the shalom if possible. Because if we're saying shalom to each other, we should be meaning shalom one to another, right? So we can see here in the text that he said unto them, and he said, peace be to you. He's seen that they were fearful. He heard their testimony. Your Elohim, the Elohim of your father, have given you treasure in your sacks. I had your money, and he brought Simeon unto them. So I just want to pull up on screen just for a moment. And I'm gonna get one of the Hebrew readers to read it for me in Hebrew on the screen. Give me one moment. Let me get to the Zoom to do screen share. All right. Can I get a Hebrew reader online to volunteer to read a portion of verse 23 for me in Hebrew? Starting in verse 23. Can I get a volunteer Hebrew reader online that will read verse 23? All right, Shashama, yes, sir. Verse 23, total rabbi for volunteering.
Shalom Barakasha. Welcome. Resuming, I'm on my phone. Verse 23. Wayomer, Shalom, Lakim, Lati, Raru.
Okay, so let's go back again. I just want this portion here. You just stated. Read it one more time.
Wayomer, Shalom, Lakim.
Okay, so right here, Mr. Ricardo is online, may not be able to, you can see it here. So we have the word here, Shalom Lachem, Shalom Lachem, Shalom Lachem. All right, Shalom Lachem. In the Arabic, you will hear them say Salam, because they don't have the SH sound as we do with the Shalom, but it's still the word Salam and the word Shalom means the same thing, has the same definition. So here we have Shalom Lachem, Shalom Lachem, Shalom Lachem. You have the Lamed with a Kwametz, a kaf with a segal, and then you have a mem. So that you have lachem, shalom lachem, shalom lachem. So that's what he said. Wayomer is, and he said, shalom lachem, which you have here, peace be to you. So if you hear, most people, if you hear somebody say, shalom alaikum or salam alaikum, you credit that to who? Muslims. And so the reason why I want to go into this today is because there may be some amongst us being like, well, I thought they followed the Bible. I thought they said it was Hebrews, but they're using a Muslim term or a Muslim saying. No, that's a cultural norm, because even those that that say they're in Islam, they actually also claim seed of what? Abraham. So Abraham was a Hebrew. Yeah. So customarily, greetings and hospitality starts with who? Abraham, which was the forefather. And if you read anything about the writings of Abraham, no matter who came in and out of the city with Abraham, Abraham was what? Very hospitable to people. So his children, his offspring would have known whether they end up being Hebrews or any of the other offshoots of him, of the other line of him, they still would have a base understanding of the language or the mindset of greetings from their father, right? So here we have, here it says, Yosef. So now this is back to Yosef. And he said, peace be to you. So in English, we may say, peace be to you or peace be upon you. So to you is lachem, upon you alechem, okay? So so this is not a term that's an Islamic term or begins in Islam. This is just a Hebraic term that's used culturally for Hebrews with how they greeted each other, or terms of speaking peace to you. Like if you're worried about something, peace be to you, calm down, no fear, this peace. Like you have some people that come like, I come in peace. It's like, you know, I didn't come with no drama. I know we had an issue, but hey, I come in peace. Can we talk? So it's just still a greeting that just means completeness of wholeness be unto you. All right. So I just want to go ahead and just show in the Torah that it says, and you can read it for yourself in the Hebrew, shalom, wayomer, shalom lachem. So peace be to you is what was said here. All right, I'm going to drop the screen share for a moment. And I want to go back to the Brit Kadashah. Let's go to the book of Yahuchanan, chapter 20, which is John. We're going to the book of Yahuchanan, or John, chapter 20. Yahuchanan, John, chapter 20, and we're going to jump right to the verse 19. Yahuchanan, or John, chapter 20. Yahuchanan, Yachanan, whichever one you're familiar with, John, chapter 20, and go right to verse 19.
Accordingly, it being at even, the first of the Sabbath, when the doors were shut, where the disciples were assembled, for the fear of Yahudim, came Yahushua and stood in the midst and said to them, peace be with you.
Okay, so it says, for the fear of the Yahudim was upon them, and it says, and Yahushua and stood in the midst and said unto them, peace be unto you. So we're seeing that also the way that the Mashiach was greeting his Talmudim was with what? Shalom be to you, shalom lachem. All right, peace be to you, peace be unto you. All right, so that's just one. So we want to get another precept. Let's go down to verse, same chapter. Let's just drop down to verse 26. Let's read a little bit in context. Get me 24 through 26.
But one of the 12, called Didymus, was not with them when Yahushua came. The other disciples therefore said unto him, we have seen the master. But he said unto them, except I shall see in his hands the print of the nails, and put my finger to the print of the nails, and thrust my hand into his side, I will not believe. And after 8 days again, his disciples were within, and Tom with them. Then came Yahushua, the doors being shut, and stood in the midst, and said, peace be unto you.
Okay, so this is a disciple that wasn't present with them when he greeted the other Talmudim, the disciples. And y'all can see that as we're reading this is the time after what's commonly called the crucifixion, after he was already killed, that he's now reappearing to his Talmudim as disciples. And so the other disciples are letting them know, like, look, the master reappeared unto us, we seen him. And so one was in doubt, like, nah, I don't believe that. You know what I'm saying? Unless I see this and that, I don't believe what y'all talking about. I just don't believe that, right? So then it says in verse 26, and after 8 days, again, his disciples were within, and Thomas with them. And then Yahushua, the doors being shut, and stood in the midst and said, peace be unto you. All right. So that's what he greeted them again with what? Shalom lachem, peace be to you. Peace be unto you, peace be to you. All right. So that is a common greeting. So anyone that's listening in or tuning in that may hear us using that term, it's not that we are trying to get you to convert to Islam. That's not what we're trying to do. We do read from the Bible. We do still believe in the laws, statutes, commandments of the Most High. What we're doing is just trying to tear down the walls of petition that we've put up. We've allowed religion to put walls of petition up when some things are just common verbiage that's utilized, that's saying, because of those that are in Islam, they're not trying to be bad people. They're trying to actually, even in their writers, in their writers, it tells you sort of like the what the word tells us. The word and the Bible tells us, if it be at all possible, be at peace with all men. If it be at all possible, be at peace with all men. So again, it's saying be at shalom, a completeness, a wholeness one with another, if it be possible. In the Quran, it tells you also that if, and I'm not trying to teach Quran for us to go to the Quran, I'm just trying to say how we have to stop judging things and trying to make it a religious division and just understanding the commonality of just the righteousness of the seed of Abraham that's trying to show the character and conduct of their forefather Abraham. So in it, it tells you that regardless of what someone's religion is, whether they this, they that, if they're not an enemy towards you and they're not bringing you any harm, then be at peace with them. So it's not saying that you got to force your religious beliefs on them, like what we do a lot of times. We want to force our beliefs on people instead of just bringing shalom, right? So it says, as we read earlier in Matthews, if they will receive you into their home, then you bring your peace. You don't go right into rebuking, this is what we believe, oh, you this, you that, I don't deal with you. That's not how he tells us to go out. Of course, they're going to be different than you when you first go out. Of course, they're going to be in different religions, have different beliefs, calling the Most High different names and names that may be offensive to us and offensive to the Creator. But he gives us wisdom to say, but you go and you bring shalom. Say, do you really want to know the true name of the Creator? You know, because there's even writers in the Brit Kadashah we get to understand of. There's a place where it says, and to the unknown Elohim. And then Shaul said, what? I'll make known to you this day the what you call unknown, because I know him. So that's what we're supposed to bring. And we're supposed to bring it with what? With a level of shalom. So I'm just going here. So that whole greeting of shalom is something that servants of the Most High is supposed to have. We're supposed to come with the shalom in us, and we're supposed to bring the peace. So again, just stating that this is not an Islamic thing, and this is not a religious saying. This is just something that's simply saying, peace be unto you, or peace be upon you. I want you to have shalom. If I see that you're going through, I want to say shalom alaikum, peace be upon you, peace be to you. How can I help? You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to bring comfort. My words, my presence. I hope my presence brings comfort. When someone is going through and you show up, you know what I'm saying? That is a form of bringing shalom or comfort to someone. So not only just your words, your presence is supposed to bring what? That shalom. That's what we have to start bringing, Mishpachah. We have to start bringing the shalom. So I'm going to go to now Luke chapter 24. And we're going to jump right to verse 36 just to get one other witness of this being stated. And this is in the New Testament writing. And I want to go there just to show that in the Old Testament, it's already said, peace be to you. And so now we're going to Luke chapter 24 and just jump right down to verse 36.
Luke 24, verse 36. And as they thus spoke, Yahushua himself stood in the midst of them and said unto them, peace be unto you.
So whether we say it in English, Mishpachah, it still mean the same thing because we speak English and more. So if you're talking to someone that doesn't know Hebrew, right, we need to use a little more wisdom, right? So if we want to greet them with shalom, it would be good to say, peace be to you, peace be unto you, peace be upon you. But to say shalom alaikum to a Christian, or shalom lakum to a Christian, they're going to be like, well, that's a Muslim. I don't want to receive that. So we should use wisdom and just say what? Peace be unto you. Give them the translated version. But then when we're speaking to other brothers and sisters who are in the awakening, then we can actually greet them with the Hebraic term because they will more than likely understand it, right? So he again said, and as they thus spake, Yahushua himself stood in the midst of them and said unto them, shalom be unto you, peace be unto you, all right? So in closing, I now want to jump to the book of Acts. I'm not going to get all the passages where this is written, but what you're going to see is when you go through the book of Acts, chapter 21, chapter 24, 26, you're going to see Paul himself speaking in the Hebrew tongue. And you're going to see that people actually gave him more respect when he spoke in Hebrew tongue. It said when they heard Paul get up and speak to them in the Hebrew tongue, it said the people stood still. Why? Hold up, this is Hebrew? Like he's speaking Hebrew? Like, so again, those in the New Testament era did understand what? The Hebrew language. So I know a lot of times when you're looking at certain information that try to tell you that Hebrew was a lost language and no one spoke Hebrew, and so they wanted to have all this Greek mindset and the Greek application. But the scriptures themselves or the Bible itself actually lets you know what was being spoken. So even though man may have his commentaries, may have their religious viewpoints and what they're trying to get us away from and get us into and their thought process, but even within the word, the way the Most High has it translated, that even things that they even mistranslate or try to hide from us, the Most High still left the word plain enough that we can find our way back to what is true. So it said when Paul spoke to them in the Hebrew tongue, and you can find that in the book of Acts, but I just want to go right to it for the sake of time. I want to focus on the Mashiach, because the question that was asked was, did the Messiah speak in actually Hebrew or Aramaic, because they say he spoke Aramaic and not Hebrew, was the question. And I like Moreh Yeshua's answer, because he was going to say, well, you know, I would basically believe he could speak multiple languages. I mean, you know, like he'd be able to have a skill set, but I don't have any supporting evidence, so I ain't gonna try to make that claim. But I mean, come on, like I can show you through the text that these men spoke multiple languages. So would he have spoke Aramaic? Yes, he would be able to speak to whomever he was sent to, and he is the Mashiach, so I'm sure he could speak any language he wanted to. But let's just stick with what the text says. So I like his response with how he tried to provoke thought, like, come on, like, yes, you know, they spoke multiple languages, and he went through to show how different people was able to speak multiple languages. Not only Hebrews spoke multiple languages, but others spoke multiple languages during that time. But to get to the crux of the matter, let's go to Acts chapter 26, just so if they hear us, and when the Mishpakas hear us say Shalom Lachem or Shalom Aleichem, they understand that we're saying peace to you or peace be upon you. And if one says, well, we read it, but that was in the English, so we don't even know if it was that Shalom Lachem. So let's go to Acts 26 and start with verse 12.
Acts 26, verse 12. Whereupon, as I went to Damascus with authority and commission from the chief priests, at midday, O king, I saw in the way a light from heaven above, the brightness of the sun shining round about me and them which journeyed with me. And when we were all fallen to the earth, I heard a voice speaking unto me and saying in the Hebrew tongue, Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me? It is hard for you to kick against the pricks. And I said, who are you, master? And he said, I'm Yahushua whom you persecute.
So it's letting you know who he was speaking to. So this was Paul on the way to Damascus. We all know about how blindness and all struck Paul and certain things, right? We're familiar with the text, but one of the things a lot of times that people never really focus on, just because in the church, a lot of times they're not focusing on this aspect of it, they're just focusing on what happened to him on the road to. But it says, and when we were all fallen to the earth, I heard a voice speaking unto me and saying in what? A Hebrew tongue. So he spoke to me in the Hebrew language. Why? Because Paul was a what? Hebrew. Saul, his name was also Saul. Saul was a Hebrew himself. So yes, if a person wasn't necessarily a Hebrew or didn't know Hebrew, would it be beneficial right now if a Malakim of Yah was sent to us and he spoke to us in the Hebrew tongue? Let me take my glasses off. Would it be beneficial to us if a Malakim, which is commonly called an angel of the Most High, came and spoke to us in the Hebrew tongue? Would it be very beneficial to us?
No.
Low. No.
Y'all know
I wouldn't understand.
y'all know y'all have a transparent Moreh. I will let you down. Because I know limited amount of Hebrew. I might get a part of it, but if you don't get the whole message, and it says if you don't know this, so now going to what it says in other places about the unknown tongue. It's not talking about speaking in gibberish, right? If you don't understand the tongue, then how does it benefit you if you don't fully speak it? So that is the reason why we're trying to labor to return to it, so that if we are somewhere and someone does speak in it, then we would know more than what we know now. That's why we're laboring to do so. But again, wisdom showing us that to Hebrews, it wasn't a lost language. So to Hebrews, he spoke to them in what? The Hebrew tongue. But if it was someone that wasn't Hebrew, he would speak to them in what? In the language that they understood. But he himself, as it says, it is evident that our master sprang from Yehuda. Yehuda is one of the 12 tribes of Israel, which spoke what? Hebrew. All right. So that was the language they spoke. So I just want to go here just for a little cultural perspective today, as the reason why you hear us say shalom, shalom lakum or shalom aleichem to people. And you may hear us pronounce it slightly different, but you can rather someone say shalom aleichem, shalom alachem. You know what I'm saying? Some people are focusing more on harder sounds of Hebrew and minus the vowel points. Some may use the vowel points, but you can still all identify whether someone say, Yasmin. And what's another way you say it sometimes? Shalom lecholam. You still understand, you can still understand what she's saying. Shalom lecholam, you know what I'm saying? Shalom lecholam, shalom alaikum is peace upon you. Shalom lecholam also is going to be peace to you. So it's all these different nuances that we have to learn. But the point is, we're trying to get back to the righteous ways of old, you know, and trying to return to culture. And so actually it seemed like it means something to me when someone said in the Hebrew, you know what I'm saying? That's why we're trying to get back to it. And also when we're using it in the Hebrew, it's also helping all of us start to build a vocabulary when we're saying certain things. So even though our pronunciation sometimes may sound a little different, and if y'all listen, like Paul says, all things to all people, if you go to a place and you hear how they say something, I adjust my ears and my verbiage to how they say things. So sometimes my shalom aleichem, if that's what they say, if they say shalom aleichem, I'm gonna say shalom aleichem. But we read today, or Shashma read it, but when it says shalom lechem, you know, if you take the vowel points out, somebody maybe wants to say shalom lachem, you know what I'm saying? Whichever dialect they're using, I may use it so that we're not being what? Barbarians one to another. And that's the wisdom that was being taught to us. Not to be sitting right here trying to cause a division, but being able to be wise enough to be all things to all people. So if you hear what's being utilized and how to utilize it, sometimes, you know, you can interchange. Now, if it's people that we know, like we know each other well, and we pronounce it differently, we still understand that even in English, we do not pronounce things the same way. Why do we make a big Hebrew argument over, oh, he said that wrong. This is how you're supposed to say it. You know, now if it's masculine and feminine, yes, we need to correct those things. But now the pronunciation, meaning the sound of it, if you can identify what I said, then you know what I said. Don't sit there. Now we're going to have a whole debate on who's saying it right, when I can understand you meant peace be unto me. And I'm going to say, and unto you be peace. You know what I'm saying? Back to you. All right. So just wanted to cover that today. And with that, are there any questions before we move forward to anyone, especially any of the newer members that may have any questions? So what I just want to establish was that peace be upon you does not originate with a religion. Peace be upon you is a greeting that's saying completeness of wholeness. It's also a blessing that we're pronouncing on someone. It is something that our forefathers used. We've seen it when Joseph pronounced it unto his brothers, peace be to you, like calm down. There's peace between us. We've also seen in the Brit Kadashah, commonly called the New Testament, where the Messiah greeted his Talmudim with peace be upon them. And also they had a little fear also when he greeted them with peace, but it still was peace be upon you, like calm down, there's wholeness. We're speaking of blessing. And then we also see where he also told us that when we go into a city, that we actually bring what to a home or to a house. We bring peace. So then the question we have to ask is, how are we using shalom? Are we the ones that say shalom and people look like, I don't want nothing to do with anybody that say shalom because how they act? Because you're not really bringing shalom and you don't understand what shalom means. You don't understand the expression and how we're supposed to be bringing a shalom or peace with us. We should be the bringers of peace. And also in Matthew, the 5th chapter, the Mashiach said, blessed are the what? The peacemakers. So we should be the ones that bring us a shalom and trying to be the ones that bring peaceful joy to people and peaceful solutions to whatever scenario that we're walking into. So with that, my mishpachah, I'm going to say, shalom lachem, shalom lachem, shalom aleichem. Peace to you, a peace be upon you, Bahashem, in the name of Elyon Yah, of the Most High Yah. So peace be unto you in the name of the Most High Yah. And I pray that the Most High's peace be upon us all. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Yes, Rabban. All right.
What are forefathers?
Forefathers are the ancient forefathers are those that lived before. So Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, it would be forefathers, those whom we haven't met, those who are the ancient ones of our lineage where our generation started. So they're the forefathers. So Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Israel, just all of the forefathers, meaning those that came before us and those that lived during the ancient times or lived before us are the forefathers, those who already existed in ancient times. All right. Good question. Good question, young man. All right. So with that, Mr. Bakar, once again, shalom lachem, peace to you. And I now yield the floor to Adon Kanaka for his 2-minute warning.